Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Brett Allan Show, a pop culture podcast where we interview your favorite celebrities, actors from film and television, music, comedy, and more. And today we have a ringer of a show. I can't even believe I'm having this conversation. We are chatting with international star and musician, the one and only Tito Jackson. He is currently in the UK right now promoting his brand new record, Under Your Spell, which has become an instant hit in this household. This is a getting ready for school in the morning song for myself and my 7-year-old. Tito, welcome into the show. It's great to have you.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. That's important.
Yes. Well, this album is unbelievable. Again, like I said, my 7-year-old and we listen to this. It gets us moving in the morning to get him up and ready for school. And it also is great because it's exposing him to, again, an icon like yourself. And you've been in the business forever. And you've put out a lot of amazing albums, but this one in particular is a blues album, blues themed, and it's also dedicated to your mother. So let's talk about this and let us in on a little bit, if you can, the inspiration for the record and kind of the taking the path to do, blues. It's amazing.
Okay. That started way long ago, Brett, before the Jackson 5 even started, actually, because my father and mother were blues lovers, played a lot of records of B.B. King and all these other artists, Jimmy Reed and Elmore James, and they just played all kind of music. And so I'm digging this music. So my uncle Luther, my father's brother, would come over with his amplifier and guitar on the weekends. And they jam blues in the living room. And I'm a little kid, and I'm just basically just enjoying the music, staring at what they're doing, singing and the fingering of the guitar and all these other things. So, and my father used to always say to the older guys, myself, Jackie, and Jermaine, because we're 4 or 5 years older than Michael and Marlon. When I go to work, don't touch my guitar. He put it away in the case and stick it in the closet. The moment he would run out the door, I would grab the guitar and start to try to do what I saw them do, whether it was yesterday or 2 days ago or whatever. I'm going to try it, And that went on for some time. My mother knew I was doing that, and she supported it. And she would tell me, put the guitar where your dad will be home soon. He didn't know I was playing it. So anyhow, one time I broke the string. And
oh no!
yeah. I didn't know what to do, Brett. He found out I'd been playing it when he opened that case and saw that broken string. He said, "Who's that playing my guitar?" I immediately started crying. So that gave it away. And after that, he punished me for it and then put it in my lap and said, "Show me what you know." And I'm playing and crying, trying to play the little things, little tinkling, whatever I was doing. And he looked at my mother and said, "He really trying to play this guitar, isn't he?" She said, "Joe, he's not playing with it. He really wants to play." I showed him my finger. I had a blister from playing it so much, on my thumb, and he gave me the guitar. He said, "I tell you what, I want you to learn every song you like and hear on the radio." So I started, we listened to a lot of music, not just blues. So Motown was part of our listening music, as well as Isley's and Brett, everybody. And so here I am trying to learn these songs, and the other brothers are singing with me. They're singing in the lyrical parts, and we'd be singing, and my father say, "I gotta go to work. Be quiet in that room making all that noise," and I'm skipping a portion of the story, but to make a long story short, by then Michael and Marlon had joined us, and my mother said, "I really think they got something. I think you ought to really take a listen to them. I think they might have something." My father said said to my mother, "Them boys can't sing." She said, "No, Joe, I think you really need to listen to them." So he gave us our audition course, and I'm a little off the road, well, of the original question here, but I'm getting back to it.
That's
Uh,
okay.
so he auditioned us, and he was really surprised. So the next paycheck he went in, got a lot of things on loan. The music store must have loaned him microphones and stands and all these other things. And he basically rehearsed us every day. I mean, straight after school, and back then, after a while, we were doing shows and whatever. And we in those shows, we were doing some blues songs too. We would do maybe 4 or 5 blues songs out of the set of music that was doing at that time, and that's basically what it was. And at that time, this is prior to Motown. Maybe I'll say 3 years before Motown, and then after that, I never got to play blues after Motown days. After I
Oh,
Want You
wow.
Back came out, our first hit record, unless maybe one of the brothers split their pants or the microphone went down, then they would say, "Tito, play some blues," to kill time until they change, whatever. So I would play some blues guitar and stuff. So, but I've always been a lover of blues. One of my blues heroes, of course, is BB King. I adore his music, and I did a tribute in my album with his daughter Colette King, along with George Benson. So that's very, very precious to my ears, and check it out. And so that's basically it. So I was in Oxnard, California, and out there for a while. And I'm going back to the 80s, later 80s, and the brothers hadn't worked just some time because we thought it was a good time to take a break. We've been on the road practically all our lives, but I was missing it after 4 or 5 years. So that's when I started my own blues band. And that was around the year 2001, 2002, I believe. And I've been doing this blues thing off and on, and also with my brothers, going on the road as a member of the Jacksons or the Jackson Five, as well as doing the blues on my own as a solo.
The album is fantastic. And again, I'm 47, so I remember the first time I saw you and your brothers, it was the Victory Tour back in the 80s. I think I was probably 9 or 10 years old. It was in Kansas City, Missouri at Kauffman Stadium. I remember it like it was yesterday
Wow.
because you all were doing something. I felt like even then, well, looking back on it, hindsight's always 2020. So as an adult now, I can process it and understand. But the music that you were creating and performing was just so different than what was out and available. Again, coming from a family, and I have to say, I appreciate you sharing that story about growing up and having to audition and really earning that space before your parents just kind of let you go and said, okay, then you guys turn into like a phenomenon. I think essentially is what happened after years and years and whatnot. Looking back at your long and iconic career, I'm very curious, like, was there ever any advice that you were given along the way that sustained you, Tito, that kind of helped you and motivated you and kept you going?
Yes, yes. And a device that was given to not just to me, but all the brothers, basically. And it came from other artists. And they told us basically, to never take drugs, and to also don't get the big head was another one. They used to always say in those words. In other words, they said, don't think you any better than anyone else, because we're all the same. This is a job. And if you look at it that way, instead of saying this is a privilege or whatever, I look at it as a job, and spreading a message is a great job because you get to speak how you feel in your heart out to the world. So as long as you understand those things and understand that you're no different, you're going to die from the same stab wound or gunshot as the next man. So just make you a man just like everyone else.
Wow. Such great advice. I'm very interested to find out. I know because you've been a musician and a public figure and part of this legacy for so long. I mean, the name Tito Jackson. I mean, anybody in your family, Janet, Latoya, it doesn't matter, Michael. Like, people know who you are, and I'm certain now these days you probably cross paths with a lot of younger musicians, whatever the case might be. Do you ever find them like soliciting you for advice or,
Yeah, all the time.
all the time, I'm sure. I mean, is it hard for you to answer that question? Because the way that you went about it and had to go about it was, I mean, I don't think anybody's ever, I don't know for sure, but I'm just surmising that kind of way to get started. Like, cause it just was such a different time and, the generation, there's just so many significant differences from what
Yeah,
you've shared.
well, back then, that's just the way it was. We didn't have the privileges of a Facebook or Instagram and social media. Everything was basically manual. Interviews. You had to could be interviewed, and you had to buy a publication to learn about something or someone. Now you can on your cell phone. It's right there for you. Oh, I like that song. You Shazam it, find out who it
Yeah.
is, and buy now. And this, you got it. But back then, I liked it back then because if you like the song, you get to go to the record store and listen to other songs, and you get an album. You find out who's played on it, and a little story about the album basically is what you get. Today, you have to go and read the reviews and that whole thing on your cell phone. So cell phones are very valuable, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we're having a conversation. You're in a completely different country on an iPhone. I'm sitting here.
Exactly.
I'm here at home in my studio, and I'm able
That
to have this very special conversation with you. And I think so. I mean, clearly, your music has transcended time. Everything that you've been a part of, and because of social media, it's in the way that we listen to music, Shazam, Siri, whatever, Alexa. It's interesting because I can listen to your music now. Like I tell my son, let's play this on the radio, get ready for school. And it's crazy. And it's exposed you and to a new generation of listeners. And it's so fascinating. But I always can't but think when I was talking to, Dee Snyder a couple days ago from, formerly Twisted Sister. And I said to him, I said, it's interesting. Imagine if social media had existed even during your time. I mean, it would be unbelievable, the amount of people that would have had the reach. But this music is great. And, at the end of the day, one last question here, Mr. Jackson, is as you kind of look back at all of this, and you have this brand new album under your spell, what is the hope that you have for the listener that they take away from it? Like, is there a message that you want to communicate? Because music is all about message and feeling and emotion.
Yes. Well, I put my focus on song number 2. It's a song called "Love One Another." featuring Stevie Wonder and myself and my brother Marlon and Bobby Rush and Kenny Neal. And the song is basically about spreading the message of love. You know, that's what my family has been into for some time now. And I just want to carry the message, especially after the situation in the Capitol on January 6th and the George Floyd situations and all these other things. We just have to be reminded to love one another. And I tried to make an album that people can put on and just feel good about it. People think blues is sad. No, blues is not always sad. There's happy blues and there's sad blues, just like our pop records today. So I look at it that way. And you can put this record on in a picnic during your holiday season, any 4th of July, Christmas, whatever you feel, and it just feels good to me.
Yeah, it's great. Every morning, when we're getting ready for school, my 7-year-old says, Dad, put on the spell song, the magic song, because that's how he equates it. And it's a great album. And again, Tito, it's been an honor chatting with you. It's just been really a dream come true. Thank you for taking the time, traveling in another country, and for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Brett. This has been nice talking to you as well. And I'm going to send you a signed copy of my CD.
Wow.
And I'd like to send your son one as well.
Wonderful. That would be fantastic. Again, thank you, Mr. Jackson. I appreciate it.